Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. The mastery of sales is important for just about every business, but some people can find it extremely difficult. So what are the best ways to overcome a reluctance or even a fear of selling? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Tristan Wright is the founder and CEO of consultancy Evolve to Grow. He says knowledge is the key. Knowledge of the market, your potential clients, and your own product or service. So, how do you gain confidence with sales? Tristan explains to Jeff Waters.
We need to actually understand the value of what we're offering to our prospects and what would happen if we don't offer that to our prospects. So what I mean by that is we know what our service is and we know that we can change the life or we can change the direction of the business if our client or our prospect purchases our service. So once we know that value, we can then tell ourselves we're doing them a disservice if we don't follow up with them. So many people try and sell without actually knowing the value proposition that they're offering to their prospect.
So how do I figure out what my value proposition is?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? So the way we do it, it's pre-sales. So whether we're a business owner or we're a salesperson, we should have actually done research on our target market or our clients and actually understand or know what it is that they need and why they need that. So there's no point selling a service or a product if there's no need for that in the market.
So you have to have an understanding both of the marketplace and your own product and be confident in both. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much. So there's no point going out and selling a marketing service to anyone because we don't know if that marketing service is actually going to add value to them. So we need to know that our marketing service will help this type of client and this is how it will help them. So I can't go and sell business coaching to you, Jeff, because I don't know if it's going to help you or not. So I don't know the size of your business, the demographic of your business. But if I knew what your pains were in business, that would allow me to know if I can actually be of benefit to you. So before we try to sell, we need to actually know how we're going to be of benefit to that client.
So study the client individually as well as the marketplace.
Correct. And yes, it is a bit more time consuming, but once we know that, we're going to have a much higher strike rate when we have those sales calls, and we're going to be a lot more confident on them because we know how we can help this person or how we can help this business.
So the background knowledge translates into confidence, which then translates into sales.
Yep. So from my experience, talking to people they're in the sales space, if they don't have that background knowledge, that background experience, then they're not going to be successful in sales because they're just talking generic broad terms. We can't talk generic broad terms anymore when selling. We need to actually trigger a pain point and know how we're going to solve that pain point.
How has the pandemic changed the way people sell and how confident they are at selling?
It's totally changed. Like obviously we're post-pandemic now. Pre-pandemic, people would struggle to get 5 coffee meetings a week and we would have to go out and meet face-to-face just to have a 15-minute conversation. During the pandemic, we realised that we can have conversations via Zoom and we can have multiple conversations via Zoom. So we've been able to increase the amount of prospects we have conversations with. And a good salesperson will have learned from those conversations what the pain points are of their prospects and been able to refine their craft. Now that we're post-pandemic, we can actually use that refined craft both in person and online. But we've realized that at the end of the day, business is just business. There's so much more outside of that. And it's okay to have a conversation with people. We don't need to be afraid to have conversations with people as long as we think we can add value to the person in that conversation.
Just before we go on, you've spoken a few times about pain points. Could you just explain that for somebody who might not know what you're talking about?
Sure. So a business is going to buy something from you because you're going to solve a problem. at a personal level, you buy something because it makes you happy. But at a business level, you should only be purchasing something because it's going to solve a problem or help you get ahead. So why are you feeling that problem? What's the pain of that problem? And how do you solve it? So you've got to sell the solution. We need to understand what's holding the business back. So for instance, it might be not enough people know about our business. So that's the pain. The reason that's the pain is because you can't make sales. So we need to sell to the person a solution to be able to put them in front of more people that will potentially purchase their product.
All right. So back to selling and the pandemic. Communications channels have changed. As you mentioned, a lot of people might find it easier to sell face-to-face than they do over the telephone or the internet. How has the way we communicate changed, and what are the implications for sales?
In my business, I've moved a lot of my sales to chat. So people are online on social media a lot more. So I can have more communication with more people via chat now than ever. So for me, it makes it a lot easier to just have some very basic or casual conversations and open up the door. They may not buy from me now, but they get to know about me. So COVID pandemic has moved everything to a virtual space and allowed us to have more conversations than we were previously. And this is, yes, we're past COVID, but the flow-on effect is people are more open to having a conversation today than they were 3 years ago. So we just need to be not afraid that we're going to get shut down, because it's a lot less likely that we'll be shut down.
That was Tristan Wright, founder and CEO of Evolve to Grow. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.